Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It is just noon. We are still waiting for a few people to log on, so we will get started in a couple minutes. Okay, just to be respectful of everyone's time, we're going to get started. Welcome to the Western New York Women's Foundation Pathways to Progress Speaker Series webinar on mindful meditation. My name is Corey Fabian Barrett, and I am the Director of External Affairs at the Western New York Women's Foundation. I'm joined on the webinar this morning, or early afternoon, I guess, by today's speaker, Mari Irwin of Soul Candy Project, and Mary Arasi, our Strategic Initiatives Coordinator, who will be helping us out behind the scenes today. Thank you all for joining us. The Western New York Women's Foundation exists to support the women and girls of our community, a mission which has become even more critical lately. During these very strange times, we've seen how a pandemic of this scale especially impacts and disrupts the lives of women in our communities. The New York Times recently reported that 1 out of 3 jobs held by women has been designated as essential, and 52% of all essential workers are women. So we here at the Western New York Women's Foundation have been working overtime to advocate for these women in recent weeks. We've been pushing for paid sick leave and affordable and accessible childcare for essential workers with our partners at Child Care Research Network and the Workforce Development Institute. A recent win was helping to secure $500,000 in childcare subsidies for Erie County. Advocacy can really work. The gendered experience of coronavirus is based in the gender inequalities that impact all of us every single day. This crisis is only making those disparities more visible. That's why we're actively continuing our work to advocate for women's economic empowerment, paid sick leave, and affordable, accessible childcare for all. So thank you for making the time to join us on this webinar today and support our work. We know that your time is very precious, and we really appreciate you signing up for this. We will continue creating these spaces for women to convene and learn in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for upcoming offerings from the Western New York Women's Foundation. Before we get underway today, I did have a few housekeeping notes for today's webinar. We will be online talking with you all for about 30 to 40 minutes, going through mindful movement and guided meditation with Mari. If you could please, before we get started, take a moment to silence your cell phone or turn off any notifications to be fully present. That would be much appreciated. This full session is also being recorded and will be freely available online afterwards if you want to do it again or you want to share it with a friend. And you'll get a link after the webinar. Also wanted to point out in your webinar sidebar, you can see that there is a chat box. We will be doing some little Q&A with Mari at the end of today's webinar. So if you have a question or if you want to share an experience you've had that helped you, please feel free to type it into the chat box at any point during the session. You'll see where it gives you the choice to select to send a question to staff, and that will make sure that we see it. I now want to take a quick minute to introduce today's speaker, Mari Irwin. Mari created Soul Candy Project, which is a certified minority women-owned business to share yoga, breathwork, meditation, and creativity. Prior to running Soul Candy Project, Mari worked as a classroom teacher, a trainer of K-12 educational technology, and as an event planner. She holds a master's degree in education and received her 200-hour certification at the Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health in Stockbridge, Massachusetts, under the guidance of Sudha Carolyn Ledeen and Larissa Hall Carlson. She's also a gifted Reiki practitioner. While currently shut down due to quarantine, Soul Candy Project typically offers wonderful weekly classes throughout the community, including at Hotel Henry, the Complete Wellness Center, and Wegmans, plus private classes and workshops. So thank you so much for being with us here today, Mari. Without further ado, we're going to turn on our cams, stop showing you the screen, and get started.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I think that you can. Thank you so much, Corey, Mary, and Western New York Women's Foundation. I am so thankful to be part of this series and thankful to be your guide this afternoon. Yes, I am the founder and CEO of Soul Candy Project. It's a personal and very heartfelt project that embraces a mission to help kids and adults of all ages manage life and its stressors through mindfulness, through yoga-inspired sessions, and through relaxation. So for today's practice, we'll begin with the centering, but first, I'd like to know, there's a little poll that I'd like to throw out into the universe and ask you, where are you sitting at this moment? So just to have a sense of where you all are, I'm so glad that we can connect virtually, but I'd like to just have a sense of where you're sitting, because I'd like to emphasize that when we do meditation and mindfulness and mindful movement, you don't have to be anywhere special. You don't need any special equipment or any special clothing. So let's just see where you are. Corey will tally the results and then let us know. And in the meanwhile, while we're waiting for this, I'll encourage you to silence your phones, any digital distractions, to really give yourself a little mini vacation. So if it's possible, even to close a door or to just go on do not disturb just for a little bit, to give yourself your undivided attention, that would be fantastic, because this is a practice and something that will need your attention to give this gift of presence to yourself.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that poll. It looks like everyone has participated.
Okay.
And the responses that we have 70% of people joining us are doing so from a desk or table, and 25% are on the couch. 5% are ready on the floor, and that is everyone. No one else is anywhere other than those three places.
Okay, sounds terrific. Thank you. So as we start our mini vacation, I'd like to transition from your afternoon and into this practice together. So as you come to a comfortable seat, if you're seated with your legs crossed, that's great. If you're seated with your legs down off the chair, just plant your feet. And then either way you're sitting, just lengthen through the spine. So I'm going to go ahead and sit on a chair just to show you. So it's important, because we have a beautiful heart and lungs, it's important how we sit, not only because it looks good, but also because it makes us feel better. So just come to a comfortable seat. Your hands can rest wherever they feel right. And we'll breathe together 3 rounds of breath before closing the eyes, if that's comfortable for you. And I'll guide you through a little centering. So as you breathe in, you'll breathe in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. So let's go ahead 3 times. Go ahead when you're ready. Breathe in through the nose and exhale through pursed lips. Good. 2 more times. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through pursed lips. And 1 more time. Breathing in through the nose. Out through pursed lips, and then let the eyes drop, close, or just gaze down softly at a spot that isn't moving in front of you. But just take a moment here and drop in. So as your eyes drop closed and as you sit up tall, just take a moment here to really feel your sitting bones, feel your feet, and just arrive here. Physically, and little by little we'll get here mentally, but just take a minute here to just arrive here. And I could talk all about mindfulness, but I'd like you to experience it. So we're just going to take this centering moment by moment, and to start, let's just acknowledge the fact that we're breathing. So just notice the fact that you're breathing. You don't have to do anything right. Just acknowledge that you're breathing. And imagine that your spine is filled with light, sitting up tall. And as you sit in this posture of dignity, I'd like you to expand your awareness to any sounds in your space, making them part of the practice, not a disruption. Just acknowledge the sounds. Maybe it's the sound of your breath. Maybe it's other sounds in your space or sounds outside the space that you're in. And just acknowledge those thoughts and those sounds, I should say. And then notice if there are any places in your body that you can soften. So maybe the jaw, the shoulders. And as you sit here, in your mind, I'll invite you to take out a Post-it note, just in your mind, any color that you like. Just picture the Post-it note. Continue to breathe. And then jot down the top 3 things competing for your attention right now on that Post-it note. So in bullet form, just jot down the top 3 things that come to mind, little, big, small, trivial, whatever it is, just jot them down. And acknowledge all 3 things on the Post-it note. And in your mind, take the Post-it note over to the entrance of this room that you're in and just post it there and tell those 3 things. I see you and I'll be with you after the broadcast today. Leave it there and then come back to your seat. And just notice what you see at this moment, even behind the movie screen of the eyes. Notice if your mind wanders and bring it right back to this breath, this moment. And then as you're ready, just bring one hand on top of the heart and one hand on top of the belly. And just take a moment to connect with your friend, the breath, that's with you always and anywhere you are. So just acknowledge that rise and fall of the belly and chest as you breathe. And maybe you can even feel your heartbeat. And if the mind wanders, it's very natural. Just be mindful of it wandering and guide it back to this breath in this moment. And the next time that you exhale, just invite the hands together in front of the heart. Taking a moment to press pause on anything that came before class and anything that comes after class so you can be right here in this moment. And then when it feels right for you, the hands can float to your lap and the eyes can float open and you can just feel what you feel without judgment. So mindfulness is a moment by moment awareness, paying attention to each moment without any judgment and just coming to your senses, so feeling what you feel. So just take a moment and just acknowledge how you're feeling. And I'll tell you, we're going to start some mindful movements. And I want to mention that lots of times we're in our heads. We have lots of things competing for our attention. We have texts and emails and lots of news and lots of just things we have to respond to. So sometimes in order to get out of the busyness of the mind, we have to come into our body, what we feel, what we see, what we taste, all the different senses. So before we prepare for a guided relaxation, I like to just do a few mindful movements to release a little bit of stress from the body. So as you inhale, go ahead and bring the shoulders up to the ears. And as you exhale, float the shoulders away. And if you feel like breathing in through your nose the whole time, you can. Otherwise, you can breathe into the nose and bring the shoulders up. And breathe out and bring the shoulders down. Good, one more time. Smooth inhale, the shoulders go up. Smooth exhale, the shoulders come down. Nice. And then as you sit tall, we're just gonna inhale and look up towards the sky in any amount. Exhale, lower the chin to the chest. Just taking a little mini vacation from anything that came before class, anything that's coming after, so you can be right here. The inhale floats the chin up, and the exhale floats the chin down. And one more time, let the inhale initiate the eyes going up, and the exhale floating the chin to the chest. And then come to stillness and take a moment here to pause and feel what you feel. And then guide the nose to the left shoulder. And then guide the nose to the right shoulder. And feel any sensations in the neck and notice if you're holding your breath or holding any tension in your jaw. And then take a moment just breathing as you go back and forth. And then coming to stillness and pausing. And whether you're in a seat or in a chair, go ahead and glide the hands down the knees or forward and just lean forward, let the chin tuck and get a little stretch in your back and let the back and sides of your neck be soft. And just take 2 breaths right here. Releasing any tension in the back body and breathing as if the breath can travel through the back of the heart. And as you're ready, slowly come up to an upright seat and just feel the effects of that movement. And if it feels right, float the left leg on top of the right and turn to the left for just a gentle twist. So we're just going to acknowledge, soften the shoulders, gaze over the left shoulder, and just acknowledge the center of your nervous system. Our nervous systems often think we're being chased by modern day tigers, just with all the stress hormones floating in the body. So let's just acknowledge the spine, breathing in and out here. Picturing the spine, getting a beautiful calming twist. And when you're ready to breathe in next, just turn to face forward and plant both feet on the floor. Or if you're seated with your legs crossed, just go ahead and cross the other shin in front of the other. Sit up tall, breathing in. And then twist to the right side, just feeling how that feels on this side. And if you stopped breathing, that's not what we want. So just keep the breath smooth. And imagine you're breathing in calm to every cell and exhaling peace and calm and peace and light. And as you breathe here, just notice the sounds you hear in the room, including the sound of your breath. Feel sensations in the spine, and as you're ready, go ahead and breathe in and come through center, and just come to stillness and release that focus and just notice how you're feeling. Before we come to our guided meditation posture, I'd like to invite you to do a breathing technique with me. So this is called the 4-1-8 breath. I hope that translates. Maybe it should be this way. The 4-1-8 breath. So we will together breathe in to the count of 4, hold for 1 count at the top, and then exhale slowly to the count of 8. So we'll do this together a few times. This is so good for the nervous system to just invite relaxation and invite the relaxation response to kick in. So let's go ahead. So find your seat sitting up tall for your heart to beat and your lungs to breathe. And let's go ahead and inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1 at the top. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can close your eyes if you like. Go ahead and breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1 count at the top. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A few more times. Breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1 count at the top. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more times. Smooth inhale to the back of the heart. 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1 count. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last time. Smooth inhale 2, 3, 4, hold for 1 count. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and release that focus. Hands can be in the lap or on the knees, and just drop in, closing the eyes, giving your eyes a rest, giving your nervous system a rest from all the information, and turning your attention to your senses. What do you hear in this moment? What do you see in this moment, even with the eyes closed? What sensations do you feel at this moment? Maybe what do you taste at this moment? Just tune in. And if your mind wanders like a time traveler, just gently guide it back and be mindful that it wandered, and just come back to this moment. And as you're ready, invite the eyes to float open. And we're now ready to come to a pose. This is an invitation. The poll of the day right now is how many of you are comfortable getting up and down from the floor. So Corey, if you wouldn't mind throwing that out into the universe, please, that would be fantastic. So I have a sense of how many of you feel like getting up and down from the floor. So here we go. Sure can or no can do. Either one is the perfect answer. There's no right answer. I just want to have a sense, because I can't see you, what are our options?
Okay, I'm gonna close that poll. It looks like we have 67% saying sure can and 33% no thank you.
Okay, no, thank you. Okay, wonderful. So I'll give you the option. Those of you who are staying put or who are in their seat, go ahead and find the most comfortable position for you. So maybe that means, crossing your legs in your chair, or taking off your glasses, or just doing something that feels right for you. And the other group that's happy to come on the floor, or is able to come on the floor, we're gonna do legs up the chair pose. So I've turned a chair sideways. It can also be an ottoman, but I'm gonna sit gently to the floor and then sweep my calves up and lay on my back, and so my feet are over my heart. So we're gonna this is option B, and option A is being seated. So adjust yourself so you can find the most comfortable position, and I'll have you come to stillness. So come to stillness in the pose that you've chosen, and I'll be your guide here. So in whatever pose you've chosen, if you're sitting, just make sure your back feels supported. So maybe you want to sit back in your chair and actually just feel the strength of the earth, or the strength of the chair or the couch behind your back. And then those of you on the floor, just feel the strength and the solidity of the floor underneath you. So just find that and feel that. And those of you on the floor, maybe you bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. That can be really comforting. Those of you seated, you can do the same thing. Or maybe you just want to let your hands land in your lap. So just decide what might feel most comfortable for you. And we'll all make our way to stillness. So find your way there. And if it feels right, just let the eyes drop closed. And breathing techniques like the 4-1-8 breath can be like highway lanes. So to keep you focused and to keep you, centered and present. So if you'd like to, in this shape that you've chosen, let's layer on the 4-1-8 breath. So when you're ready, just a few rounds, we'll inhale 2, 3, 4, and hold for 1 at the top. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more times at your pace. Inhale for 4, hold for 1, Empty out to the count of 8. Last round. Smooth inhale, count to 4. Hold for 1. Exhale slowly to the count of 8. And then release that focus and just come back to your native breath or your natural breath and just feel how that feels in the body. Not only that, feel where you feel that in your body. And feel where the breath is most vivid. Maybe you feel it in the rib cage, the upper chest, the belly, maybe even the tip of the nose. Just turn your attention inward and give your undivided attention to your breath and your body for the next 4 rounds of breath. Just moment by moment, breath by breath. Maybe one more round, one more cycle of breath. And then keeping the eyes closed, just release that focus. And bring your attention to the hips. I'll mention some body parts. You don't have to move anything or do anything. Just bring a spark of awareness to that place. So bringing your awareness to both hips and feel the weight of both hips connected to the chair, couch, or yoga mat. As you breathe and lie here, feel the low back, the mid back, and the upper back. Notice the back of the head, placing a spark of awareness on the back of the head. Any sensations at the crown of the head. Notice the sound of your breath. Notice the face and the jaw. The throat. The heart center. The shoulders. The arms. The torso. Both hips. The length of the thigh bones. The shins and calves. And bringing your attention now to the soles of the feet. So as you sit or lie here, just follow the inhalations and exhalations and imagine that they can travel from the toes to the crown of the head and wash away any tension or tightness in the body. Just like waves wash over rocks and create smooth stones, just let the breath soften muscles, soften the mind. With the eyes closed or gazing down, what do you see at this moment? Tune in to what you hear at this moment and identify those sounds. Scanning the body and identifying sensations that you feel in the body at this moment. And notice the stillness of the body as this vertical wave of breath flows in and out. Just observe, not changing anything, just noticing. And then as you're ready, beginning to lengthen the inhales and exhales and smoothing them out. Bringing your attention to the tip of the nose, feeling the warmth or coolness of air there. And then beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes that have been still. And then floating the nose to the left shoulder and to the right shoulder, awakening the back of the head and the neck. And then for those of you laying down who want to get up, just bring the knees to the chest and roll to one side and come up to a comfortable seat, whether it's in the chair or on the floor, it doesn't matter. And then for those of you who are seated, just take a moment to pause here and feel the effects of the guided meditation. And then everyone who is seated, take a moment here and invite both hands together in front of the heart. So just take a moment and invite the hands, sealing in this practice together. It is a practice, meditation and guided meditation and mindfulness. So just take a moment and feel that. Taking a few rounds of breath into the back of the heart. Feeling the effects of your practice, the imprint that the poses and meditation have left in the body. And then remembering that you can take this with you throughout your afternoon. As you're ready, floating the eyes open, let the world come to you and just acknowledge and identify what you see. And I'll say namaste. So taking a moment here, just steep in silence and just feel something, feel what you feel, whatever's true for you. And I'll just let you take a moment to just receive the gifts of your practice, knowing that meditation and mindful meditation can lower blood pressure and can reduce stress hormones and can increase immunity and all these wonderful things, especially for this time. I mean, anytime, but especially now. So I'm so happy that you tried something new and let me be your guide. And I can't wait till I see you again next time. So here I am, I'm pressing pause here and handing it over to Corey. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Thank you, Mari. Sorry, I was muted.
You're
We
welcome.
have a couple questions coming in if you have a moment to stay in.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Wonderful. So our first question was wondering if you have any tips for better sleep and how perhaps meditation can help with that.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. What I would say for sleep, so that I don't know if you did the pose with your legs up the chair or up an ottoman, but that particular pose is the equivalent to doing 10 minutes of that is the equivalent of a 1 hour's rest or sleep. So if before bed you thought about elevating your feet over your heart, which is so good for circulation and so good for calming the nervous system, so good for migraine, so good for depression, so many things. If you can do the legs up the ottoman or even legs up the wall pose, that is a suggestion. And then the 4-1-8 breath is fantastic. And also the 4, you're not seeing my screen, so I'm going to just tell you it. It's the 4-7-8 breath. So breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and exhaling to the count to 8 for several rounds can be very soothing for the nervous system to tell the body that we're not being chased by a modern day tiger, and can help you sleep. And of course, no caffeine and things after 3, but just trying those things could really be helpful. And you can always reach out to me another time too. Thanks for asking the question.
Yeah, just personally can attest. You taught me these breathing methods and they're incredibly helpful and just calming you down, taking a moment.
Oh, good. Thanks for sharing that.
So a second question that has just come in is, what tips do you have for implementing this practice into your daily routine to making that time?
I'm so happy you asked this. When I first started, my idea of meditation was taking 3 cycles of breath before I got out of my car. So wherever I went, before I opened the car door, I took 3 cycles of breath, meaning an inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And that was just my way of saying, I know that I'm breathing, I know that I'm here, I'm not in my head, I'm here in this moment, and then I would go on with my day. So that was just a little tiny way of me pairing mindfulness with something I do all the time. Like it could be, you could be mindful of your senses when you brush your teeth, or mindful of go through your checklist of your senses before you even get out of bed. But by pairing mindfulness, even for a minute or even for 3 rounds of breath, can be so powerful because you know you'll do it. So by just saying 1 minute or setting a timer on your phone 1 minute, it can be done.
Wonderful. So I think a third question has just come in. What resources would you recommend that are available so she can share this with others in her life? I will say that this whole webinar will be available recorded, so you could share this video. But Mari, what do you recommend out there?
Okay, so what resources for mindfulness are available? Well, the guru of gurus when it comes to mindfulness is Jon Kabat-Zinn, Jon Kabat-Zinn, and he is offering, during this global pandemic, he's offering mindfulness Zoom sessions every day at 2 p.m. So that's a free resource, and someone from, the all-knowing one about mindfulness and who started it all, that is an option. There are gorgeous apps out there, Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer, all these wonderful things that are right in your phone, that are with you every day and in your pocket, that help you to just get centered and be a guide, kind of like the highway lanes, kind of like the 4-1-8 breath or the 4-7-8 breath. But those, I would say, are apps. And Jon Kabat-Zinn, you can read him or even just see him live online.
Wonderful. I just looked up his website, and we'll send that out to all participants of the webinar so they can have that resource afterwards.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So let's see, last call. Mary, do we have any other questions coming in? If not, I think we're really doing good on time, actually. All right, so no more questions. Thank you again, Mari, for this incredible session. I think you've given us some really valuable tools to use in the coming weeks and in our daily lives. So thank you.
You're so welcome. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm going to turn off our webcams, and I have a few notes for attendees. Show my screen. Okay. So thank you for everyone who's joined us online here today. We hope you found today's webinar helpful. So please remember to follow the Western New York Women's Foundation on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn for all our latest updates. I do want to point out that our next webinar in the series will be on Friday, May 8th from 9 to 10 a.m. We will be joined by representatives from crisis services to discuss how to balance your mental health and while supporting those around you. There's more information about the session and how to register on our website, which is wnywomensfoundation.org. Again, a very special thank you to Mari and to Mary for all her help behind the scenes. And thank you all for joining us today. Be safe and be well.
Thank you.